Hello friends, this is video number 2 on of the commentary on the Alien movie release 1979. So this is video number 2. There was introductory video, and then there was the first video, which consumed 4 minutes and 9 seconds. So this is the second video. I do have a couple of comments here to make, starting with this video on the previous video. Some kind of like different opinion, different idea, if you will. So here goes. So this is supposedly heavens, right? Or space or heavens, right? Or could be Earth. This here, these two could be good and evil, right? Per religion. Or, I thought of that but since yesterday, since I published the first video. So good and evil, right? Or could be that that this film is since the beginning of creation, right? Say in heavens or in the space, and then you got like your humans, and then you got your angels and humans, or angels and demons, if you will, or humans. So these are the two creations in the West. Now, in our Islamic understanding or dogma, angels are not the same as demons. So we don't say fallen angels, right? So angels and demons are two different creations. And the third one is us, that is humanity. But according to the West and perhaps Judaism, these two are good and evil, or perhaps the humans and demons, right? Possibly. Coming from below, notice that around the planet, it's not really a circular, it's not a planetary ring such as Saturn or Uranus or any other planet that has rings. Notably Saturn, like very pronounced around Saturn, right? So that's what it is. So now, again, I did say something about those. Okay, so here, as you heard, first of all, there was knocks. So again, that is the communication medium of the other world that we don't know about, right? And then there was this particular person, which is probably God. I don't know, but I'm going to interpret this as this was probably God or Adam, but then I want to interpret the rest as this being Abraham. It's closer to me being Abraham, right? What is in the movie is more of Abraham, but I'm gonna make commentary on this as well. This being God, right? And that's Tom Skerritt, because sometime in the movie, in an exchange, heated exchange with Ripley, right? He says, "Look, I only run the ship. Ash is the science officer, right?" So here, what he's trying to say is that he is really the god of the ship, right? I run the ship. But you know what? He delegates responsibilities and assignments to lower ranks, right? So that's, but I'm going to continue making the assumption that Tom Skerritt is really Abraham here. This is probably Earth. I made an assumption that it is Zion, but it could be Earth for all we know, right? Like it could be Earth itself. And then there are domes, which may signify king. Oh, no, there are 4 edifices, which may signify kingdoms or religions for that matter. But here there's like a listening device. So that is receiving like revelation or something. And then here, excuse my poor quality studio, right? And then below there are domes, so could be upside down. Here, upside down may simply mean, like it's in space, so there is the sense of gravity is meaningless, right? To speak gravity is really meaningless. Like, for example, if you build a dome on the North Pole, it doesn't have to be the same orientation or position as it is on the South Pole. They could well be opposite, like half circles split together, right? Split away from each other. So that's a possibility here. I do not know. Again, my assumption is that this is Zion, Or again, this is the ship of angels and demons, and then there's humans, and so on and so forth. Perhaps the alien is really a human, right? But I have more evidence in this movie to tell me that it is not. Again, these are the guns that you see again on those bombers in World War II. You know, they have guns in the tail, they have guns sticking from below, guns from above, and guns from the side. It's more like a defense against fighter pilots who came close to those airplanes and shut them down, right? So this here, I am almost certain this is an expedition, right? Part of the expedition against that planet LV2R or something of the sort. Okay, here, as I explained, the entity enters the ship. And again, here you see there's a whole array of soldiers, right? Red soldiers, and then at the end it's blue. So the control here is something similar to the Nebuchadnezzar, right? You know, the Nebuchadnezzar, where uh, you know, they go like that, something like that, right? Or like, I forgot, right? So in the Nebuchadnezzar, tank is blue, so is Dozer, so is Morpheus, right? Well, Morpheus may or may not be. But then there is, of course, Trinity. And then Neo is not the blue. Neo is really being operated by the blues. So here the reds are something similar to Neo, right? And then the blues are something similar to Tank. You know, what is it? Genuine, a child of Zion, right? These are not. So I'm gonna make another. So as you can see here, there's one is bowing down to the other, right? And here there is a some kind of a gown or a smock, and that's notably will be worn by Brett. Again, Brett is someone who belongs to color of brown here, right? That's why it is. So this could be them, you know? Like I said, this is either Ash and Parker, or Hagar and Sarah, or you never know. Maybe it's Lilith, right? And Eve, right? Lilith and Eve, or you know what? Maybe it's humans and then fallen angels, right? But right now, the status is one is really bowing down to the other. So now the entity is inspecting what's behind those doors, and it's finding out clearly what's going on in this ship. By the time it wakes up the group, it's really it really has mapped completely the contents of the ship, the crew, the everything about this spaceship and the Nostromo, what it is going to do, and so on. And then this ship is not exactly haphazardly traveling across, you know, hurtling across the space, in the void of space, or on a mineral harvesting mission. Rather, it is an expedition to get something out of there, right? The 20 million, as I mentioned, is probably the number of membership in the group that is here, that is Zion, or angels versus demon or whatnot, right? Uh, Again, I am a little bit doubtful to, you know, as I said, Sarah is Ripley, uh, and Abraham Stamsker. I mean, Abraham is Dallas, and Lambert is Hagar. But then again, I could be wrong. However, now we have the main plot figured out. This is not exactly. Uh, uh, this is not exactly a a black and white movie in space and alien. There is much deeper meaning to it, and much more elaborate plot and conspiracy in there. Again, when you see the pen here, I believe behind that gate here, there's like ladder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And there's 4 and 1 and 1, 4, 11, right? Those who are in the occult probably can know what these numbers are. And then here are, of course, the stack of soldiers, and then the pipes are the production or provision, supply chain of money and everything else. And these two are the guards. They are anonymous guards with red, right? So I believe he had the entity that entered the ship and now looking must cross the white, which is the white color means out in the world, right? In order to go into that other side of the occult, right? Or the organization, perhaps Zion. And that's what I think there is here is Mother, or where these guys are hibernating, you know, in the hibernation chamber. I'll explain that when it comes up. So the pen, as you can see, the pen is really authority that is dangling from the sky. Here, what that means is these people where the pen appears, whether it is on the panel, operation panel, you know, screen, in the cockpit or in the helm or the bridge of the ship or wherever, right? That means they have authority from God, right? That's what it means. So here the pen says that whatever is behind those two doors, that's authority from God, you know, a dangling pen, if you will, right? Something like this, right? So the pen is a signature. Here indicates dictation, indicates like for example in Islam, Sharia, or things of the sort, and that's dictated by God or authority, right? A given authority. So similar to, say, a president signing an executive order. Here is the bridge that controls the reds. Here you don't see reds, right? But there are the red buttons, that's who's controlled, right? And here looks more sophisticated. And again, you will notice this. You will notice that, you know, the disturbances, and it's reading the records. And now you will see the three helmets here. As I explained, the three helmets, right? 1, 2, and there's a third one that's going to show. There you go. So there are 1, 2, and 3. There you go, 1, 2, and 3. And then there are 2, right? So there's 1 and 2. Now I explained about those, right? As Brett and Parker and the suck up, you know, and so on. And I explained about the smaller one. But then there's a pen here. The pen again denotes authority. But later you will see that these figures here, or toys, or figurines, right? They're in front of Ripley. So Ripley, according to what this movie is saying, which is not true, right? Ripley has the authority. She has that pen dangling from above. So there's a designation by Allah or God, right? And then there are those. I explained what that little one is. No, I explained what these two are and what they're doing. One is sucking up to the other, right? They're low morals and so on and so forth. But they're being used by Ripley, who sits just behind them, right? But that little one, I will explain later now. That little one, little figurine here, may be the one that has that pen, authority from God, and so on. And there, that is relevant. I will explain that. Now, I'm gonna say something else here to you guys before we move on. The helmets, I said that Ripley, and I said that Parker and Brett are expendable. Well, yes, but here this is an expedition, military expedition, and it's an integrated, very elaborate, wide expedition, equipped and provisioned with espionage, with surveillance, with and so on and so forth, right? So now Parker and Brett, the helmets are going to do the attacks. These are war helmets, right? something similar to jet pilots, right? But you will come to see what I'm talking about, right? But now Brett and Parker are not exactly going to fight by hand. These are what's called behind enemy lines, meaning they're spies, they're undercover, they basically infiltrate the enemy lines by way of means of civilian communications and deception and appearance and mutilation of appearance and so on and so forth. That's why there are no helmets for them, because while they're part of the expedition, military expedition, they don't participate in combat, if you will. That's what I'm saying here. Yeah, poor Brett. Okay, here the reds are activated, as you can see, right? If you look closely, right, the reds are activated, right? The reds are activated. And I see coffee. So coffee may denote Arabs, right? Or something else, as I will come to show you. Here there's smoke, right? Smoke, right? And that's very, very significant here in this movie. There's their coffee, but there's an emblem on the cup itself. You see that emblem? That emblem is something that I want to show you. So they may be a mix of dogmatic mix or hidden mix between Arabs and Persians and so on. I will show you that in a little bit. Nostromo. So the 18 is 3 sixes, 942. No, I'm sorry, 929 246 09er. 18 09er 246 09er. I don't know what the 18, I believe that's like 18 or 666, right? 09er, that has also an occultic number. I think the Templars use that or something of the sort, right? And then 246, right? So the two are those two things I explained as rivers around that planet, right? Or around that celestial body, you know? They rise up from one end and they rise up from one end and they continue to rise up from the other. They're not exactly a ring, right? And then there's 09er, right? So here there's a 36, and then between the 09, 09, 09er, 09er is betwixt the 246, the 2, right? The 2, 4, right? 6, right? I know these are occultic numbers, but I really don't know what they mean. So now there's an awakening on the red side. This means here the expedition is going to begin. Now I kind of contradicted myself and repudiated what I said earlier, that the entity that entered is basically doing so and so, surveying the ship, yeah, and so and so, yeah, so and so. But now maybe that entity is really the one who sent the ship on such an expedition or something of the sort. It becomes a little bit confusing here, right? Notice these two buttons here, you know, and they look like a face, and you know, so on and so forth. But what I want you to know is this movie is very difficult to decipher. It's multi-threaded and it spans much wider circle of personalities and religions and histories and events across histories and nature and so on and so forth. Oh, this makes Kubrick's movies look pretty bad, right? In its multi-threading, in its multi-layering, its complexity and riddles and so on. This here was written by a large group of experts. And again, here you see there's red and yellow. Honestly, I always get confused about the yellows. Who are the yellows? I think the yellows means like the Chinese or so on and so forth, right? And as you saw, as you saw, you will notice that Parker and Brett are doing so and so, or I could be mistaken. Like I said, uh, there is plenty of sex in this movie, but it's not lust. The sex in this movie is really about seed reproduction or the seed So maybe they're shaking in their pants right here. They're shivering because they are not humans, so they can see who just entered the ship. Okay, so here you see that the capacity is 200 million, right? 200 million. And you can read so much here. Now, this is blue. So the blues always get the money while others, they send others to die for them. And then here, again, you see the pen. The pen is really by Ripley, not by this here, not by this helmet here. And you know, if you slow down the screen and get some experts, you may be able to read something off the screen here. Now here, there's something hanging. I could not figure that out. First of all, I thought it was a face, right? Like a joker. You know, here's like one side of the hat, here's the other. A couple of things is sticking out, protruding from the sides of the hat, and this is like a very big nose. But it could also be an elephant. You know, this is a trunk of an elephant. And elephant is very significant in this movie. I will come to show you how and why. So here there's an accounting. I don't know what this is here, but this here may mean, and it's blue. If it's blue, then it's dollars and money and shares and whatnot, right? Stock, I mean, the stock market, right? So in the stock market, and there's also, you know, communication here and provision supply, like cheating about money and so on. I mean, sending money and whatnot, right? So this could be accounting, right? This is a ledger, right? Or this could be the number of soldiers and whatnot. You know, this is the composition, the ship and this expedition and Zion, whatnot, consists of so and so, right? And that's also now the red one, right? Red. Okay. Now the entity has finished doing what it's doing. All right. So some of you here would wonder, why would Ridley Scott waste, like, I don't know, about 50 seconds or so showing those neons flickering and turning on when there was a real estate problem in the movie, right? They had to cut some scenes, entire scenes, they had to put some blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, from what I heard, they were really struggling with it. But no, this is a message, as a matter of fact. You have to play it slowly. Here, let me play some of it slowly for you. So I don't know what that was, like a fart or something. Okay, so let's play those neons again, and you will see what I'm talking about, right? Sorry, again, uh, I have a poor quality. Okay, so the first neon goes off, and here on the screen it is blue, really, right? And then it's blue, really, I'm sorry. And then another one goes off and it's blue. If you come closer to the screen, right? It is blue actually, it's not white. It's showing white here, right? And now it turns into yellow. This one is turning, the two blues, one turned yellow and one turned white, right? And now another one goes off. But this one starts out as green, right? It starts out as green, or is it yellow? I don't know. And now it turns blue. Now I know some neons do flicker and turn different colors, but no, here there's 1, 2, and then there's 1 and 2. And there's like a number code and a color code as well. I don't know what that means. Now these two come back up, blue, right? And then blue, that turns green, and then this blue comes up as well, lights up. Here, this one turns blue, right? This one here, white, right? This one here now turns green, and this one is blue, while the white is going. So here there is a 2 here and there's a 2 here, right? So I am thinking this here is Tom's carrot and this here, the green and white and blue, right? Or something of the sort, blue turning. This is a code, like Morse code, right? Probably Morse code. But this here is explaining something about the group that is hibernating inside this temple. It's a temple, right? It's not a hibernation chamber. This is a temple. I'll show you, right? So here, now they turn white. And now they come back again, right? And this one is blue, this one is blue, right? And this one turns yellow, right? Now it turns yellow or green or something of the sort, right? This one is blue, this one is white now. This one is blue, this one is white. This one turns green now or yellow. I'm color blind. I was just joking. So this one here turns green or yellow. Now the blue one comes up, right? So this is like giving birth or tribal thing or something, I don't know, right? And these again are the supply lines, right? Right? And then there is that hibernation chamber, which is really a temple. Here, it means nobody can enter, right? Except those people designated. And then again, blue and blue, right? This one turns green or yellow. Blue, blue, white, white. So this is, I don't know, the composition of the family of Abraham or Adam, or perhaps, I don't know, perhaps Allah or God, right? Now here, that's what they're trying to say. It could be Morse code, it could be some other code, I don't know. But he wouldn't spend how many seconds here just to show you neons flickering, really. I mean, what does that mean, really? When they were fighting, he and the studio that financed this movie, they were fighting over which scenes to go in, which scenes to go out, right? Or included or excluded, or cut or added or pasted. They even argued about the budget for that space jockey scene, right? Eventually, the studio consented to building Reel 1. So now he's wasting. Okay, so now they're all white, right? And he moves on, right? So the camera or the what's his name? The invisible entity checks things out. So the invisible entity somehow understood what's going on there. You know, this guy is here, has this religion, this guy is here, has this religion, and so on and so forth, right? And once they're all apparently obvious to him, and he understands, the entity, that invisible entity, understands what's going on, now it moves on to open the scene, to open the hibernation chamber or the temple, that very, very, very private temple. All right, here there is a couple of clues I want to tell you about. There is this clue you will always see, and there are two white gowns or frocks or smocks or whatever it is. These are white dresses for priests. A priest, you know, like a Christian priest, like a whatever priest, which we call in Arabic kahin. Kahin. A kahin is a priest, right? So these are the frocks or the smocks or the gowns of priests, you know, like when they go into a temple or something, they wear all white and so on. This here is this here, right? The 4-1, right? Remember the 4-1 in 1984 when John Hurt is being broken by O'Brien about the 4 and what he sees and what he don't see? Will you always see that? This you will also see in the egg itself. The egg has 4 lips and 1 face hugger inside, right? So that you will see that has the significance of that. You want to know the significance of that? Go check out the movie by Richard Burton when he is trying to break John Hurt as Winston, and he keeps making him understand what the 4-1 is, right? That's what it really denotes. It also says this is the egg. The egg has 4 lips, right? When they part open, and then you see the that face hugger inside, right? And then it jumps out, right? So there's plenty of notes to make about that particular 4-1. And you can count, of course. So I see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8. There is 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, right? And there's 8, 2, 8, 4, 4, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here in the middle there is a 6, right? And another 6. So 66, 6 and 6, uh, and then 4 and 4, and so there's something here. Remember, like it looks here like Superman or emblem or something. The sign of Superman. He's got on his chest. I think it's 5 or 6. I don't know, right? Or something of the sort, right? So here you also must read what this is all about. So there's darkness here within, right? Notice the wind. Now the entity enters the hibernation chamber, or the inner keep of the castle, if you will. And of course, you can count those. They are symbolic of something. I don't know. And then the neons and so there's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The 2 you don't see, but it appears that there's 1 for each member here, for each crew member. So this is like let there be light. Okay, here you will notice a couple of things. Here you will notice the son of Hagar, or I'll say he is Ishmael, right? Or Ismail. And then here there is the non-human, or fallen angel, if you will. I think that's him. And then everybody else. But then here you would see that this guy is irregular. I mean, if you look at Ash, uh, 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 Ash, Ripley, Dallas, Lambert, Brett, they're all conforming to certain position in their sleep. Not these two. This here is holding his hands as if he's praying, like us Muslims. This is how we pray, right? We hold our hands and put it on our, just below our chest, right? And then this guy is just basically loose, but he is looking to the right. So there's something on the right or something on the left. The angel on the right or the angel on the left. So he's not a leftist, right? And then there's this. This I think means male or female in that signage language or something, right? Now I didn't know, and nobody can know unless you watch those deleted scenes. So here, this is Ripley from deleted scene. This is Ripley, and just exactly behind here, with that cover, under that cover, is Dallas, and then that woman is Lambert. This is Brett, and this is Ash. Lo and behold, the first one that wakes up is Cain. So Cain could be Adam's son, right? The first one to wake up. Awakening here means not from sleep. Here it means, your brain just awakened, right? To something, and that is dazzling. When the brain awakens, it's something dazzling, right? And sometimes scary, frightening, and sometimes it's saddening, right? Some people say, I hope I really never woke up or knew, right? He's the first one to move, and then he moves his left arm as if he's saying he's got something to do with Ash, right? Ash. There's something about Ash. So here, what does that tell you? You know, he's staring like that, right? What that tells me is that here he is meditating, right? You would think he's in meditation, right? But no, here it is a communion. It's like a communication channel. He is either receiving revelation, or there's some kind of a background communication in his spirit, in his soul, in his mind that is not speakable. Notice how he looks up, and he is influenced so much by it that everybody else looks and says so. Now he opens his eye after he received whatever he received when he was closed eyes. When his eyes are closed, that is significant. The significance of that is that there's something going on in the spirit and the brain, not visual, right? That's why his eyes are closed. And the music, of course, is very suitable to such a status, you know, of uh, psychological status, right? The music. And he gets up and he wears that white gown or white frock or whatever that is, you know, garment. I will try to explain later what that is, because I have a very good opinion or very good idea to what those white frocks are, what those white gowns are. And like I said, these are this is a temple. All right, so here there's much to say about this. Notice he's always looking up, right, as if he's seeing God or some entity, right, or being subject to it. The beer is aspen beer. You can find that out in one of the deleted scenes. Now, Abraham or Adam, but Abraham, let's focus on Abraham for now. He's looking at his clock. There is a constraint on time. You will really have to read between the lines here and understand the hints. Though they talk about expedition, the unspeakable is they talk about trip in space, you know, commercial ship with ore, mineral ore, and so on and so forth. And there's got something to do with finances here and money and in all its shapes and forms and factors and so on and so forth. But this is really a military expedition as well, right? So here, this guy knows what it is. They will never mention it. You'll just have to understand it on your own, right? And he's looking at his watch. She And now you see Jonesy. I mentioned to you that Jonesy means a lot, right? And as you can see, Jonesy, I don't think was in that hibernation pod with Ripley when she woke up. He just appears here out of nowhere, right? And then here you would see that like things within, you know, like a glass or a cup or a bottle with sticks in it, and that's a reminiscent of masonry or something of the sort, right? And here you will see all kind of provisions, right? But she is feeding him, if you see. So she is feeding him, but she is controlling and in cohort or in league with the fallen angel, who is Parker here. You don't believe me? I'll show you later. So here you could misunderstand this Jonesy being this guy, right? Parker. But no, this guy is a medium. He is not a cat, really. I mean, a cat is really to explain something about him, to say something about him. But he really is not. He's not a cat. He's a person, or he's a creature, or being of some sort. Okay. So now, as you saw, he is smoking. Not everybody smokes here. So he is smoking, and he is holding like this, right? The cigarette with his both his fingers. Let's go back and see it. So apparently that is a certain sign, right? I do not know. I do not belong to such world, right? Now she just fed good old Jonesy, who looks sitting in front, exactly in front of Parker, and now she's pouring some of the same stuff to herself, right? Now that could be money, but let's wait. Food is terrible. Worst, so the food is terrible, right? Here, what they mean by that is this: whatever money it is they're talking about is terrible. It's really not exactly as they hoped. Instead of being billionaire, they want to be trillionaire, which is meaningless. Nobody can be trillionaire except in you can be, if you want to become a trillionaire, fake trillionaire. Just write a number, put one, and then 4 zeros onto its right, and it'll mean nothing really. So everything may mean something here. I mean, the food and so on and so forth. As you can see, he's always looking up and then doing something here, something above. He's looking and dealing with something above after his awakening. And now you see, of course, the two birds, right? And then again, one is bowing down to the other, right? Right? Let's repeat that. So there's Jonesy eating, and there's Lambert as she's just taking a shower, right? So taking a shower here may mean something to me, that she is his wife, right? You get the rest. And here, one is bowing down to the other, the birds, right? And then Ash is standing, he's not sitting, but he's between Cain and Dallas. So he is on their side, he is their relatives. He is an enigma, right? A certain character. I will explain later. He represents number of characters. He represents a religion, one person before, one person after, and so on, right? But I will try my best, like I said. Because cornbread.
I am cold.
So she is cold. I don't know what cold means, but it could be she is talking about Ishmael here, right? Or Cain, the son of Adam, right? So if that's the son of Adam, then this is Eve. And maybe Ripley is Lilith, the mother of the demons or whatnot, right? That could be the case. So now he's looking at him, notice.
Still with us, Brett? Right.
Still with us, Brett? Now you may think he's talking to Brett about Brett, but no. He is talking about Cain. Still with us, meaning, are you awake? Are you you with us here? Or are you still, okay, wait a minute. Maybe he's talking to him. That he is, are you with us on our side? The side of Ripley as well as Parker. Parker and Ripley are in league, right? Devils, right? He is a devil, right, Parker? And this guy is probably human. I don't know. I think so. And then he is on their side, right? As well. He's part of that league or team. It's a team or a state within a state.
Good.
He says, I feel dead, right? So now, apparently, they may be talking about him.
Anybody ever tell you look different?
Aha. So now there is a conspiracy. This conspiracy is by Ripley and Brett and Parker, right? About something that they're coming to invade a certain planet or certain area on Earth or something to get some money, right? Or there's a treasure, or there's a spirit, right? Certain spirit, right? So they're preparing for him to die. So there's a conspiracy going on here, led by Ripley, and with participation from others, right? Against Cain, right? But Cain doesn't know. That's why he asked him, anybody ever tell you, you look dead, man? Right? You look dead, right? Meaningly, that's coming your way. You're going to be dead shortly thereafter. Notice how she looks. This guy's laughing. So is Parker. But look at her eyes. Here, she is a little bit concerned that he may be giving up the game, right? Parker, her partner. See? He's laughing, right? This guy is oblivious. Dumb as shit. But now you know that Ash is pretty smart. And he is on, not exactly on the side of Cain, but part of that clan, part of that creed, part of that species, and so on. So he belongs with Cain and Lambert, and possibly Dallas, right? But he's willing to change things, right? Because he has his own agenda. Notice, she's laughing, right?
Oh yeah, right. I just forgot.
Let's try it again.
Every time you look different.
Notice. See?
Oh yeah, right.
So now they're talking to each other, because if he dies, or whatever expedition they're going on, and what he's gonna end up to be the lamb, sacrificial lamb, right? Now they immediately talk about he's the trap, he's the vessel, right? So now they immediately talk about bonus and shares.
I just forgot something, man.
Notice Ash looks at him. Ash is not oblivious to what's going on, but apparently he either is in on the expedition of this like dead man, right? The vessel, the trap, or the bait, if you will, right? To attract an entity that is rich and so on. Or he's oblivious, he senses that something is going on. That's that
Before
look.
we die, I think we ought to discuss the bonus
And she's eating.
situation, right? Hey, right now we think we deserve full shares, right?
You see, Mr. Parker and I feel that the bonus situation has never been on an equitable level.
Well, you get what you contracted for, like everybody else.
Yes, but
So there's a pre-designed agreement here, shares and so on, right? So this is the spoils of war. Now notice, whenever he's talking, Ripley's looks and gestures, right, is very telling, right? She knows what's going on. She's in on the game, or on the plot, or in the conspiracy. Now she's scratching Jonesy's head, as if she's saying, this is the replacement. That's one on her side. If she is Sarah, as I am guessing, as I am thinking, then this guy is David, right? I think so. I am not sure, but that's the closest I can come up with, right? Because he's also a sand cat, a blonde. You know, he's got like here the orange color means he's on the white side rather than on the darker side, right? Oh boy, and I was thinking I was in this movie. I love cats too. May 25, 1979, loving cats. And then there's another indicator here, but I don't know. Enough of the fun.
Mother wants to talk to you.
Mother wants to talk to you. Right? They're all happy because there's some kind of spoils. Okay, or they are preparing to harvest and gather the spoils after the military expedition, after the attack and then the seizure of that entity that they're after, right? Which really somehow generates a lot of money, shares, whatnot, and so on. For my eyes only. Parker, come on. Can't finish my coffee?
Finish my coffee. It's only been good on the ship.
Oh, they're only good on the ship. So the coffee again means the Arabs, right? And that's what I think Brett is. And as you can see, this is the bridge. This is a blue, all blue. There's no red here. Except perhaps I see red here It shows yellow on the camera, but I see red here. So the guards to the door are red, but within, right, anybody commits any intransigence or excursion or intrusion, break in, the reds will sacrifice themselves for, the blues and whatnot. That's the Neos, of course, right? But here is the control room. Mother, who is Mother? I'll explain that. Well, I have a theory. But then this is, as you can see, Zion, like the stars and the blue, and that's the thing that shivered the sensor. I don't know. It's got handles to it. I don't know what it is. That's the one that shook when the entity walked in, and the entity walked in here, remember? Because that's the thing that shook, shuddered or shook. So here, when he enters the door, Dallas turns in all black, right? You may not see it here, right? But if you look on the screen, he's become a silhouette, right? Here, he just completely disappeared. What does that mean? That may mean, now here, for some reason, the reflection is showing something here, but no. If you look at his face and all of him, his figure has now become a silhouette, right? Just a silhouette. And then behind him is like light, right? However, here, right, he has just disappeared. Now, has he disappeared incognito, or has he just changed into another entity, species? Like he's appearing as human, shape-shifting, right? As human, then he becomes invisible, right? Now, he turns on the light because that place is dark. Nobody goes in there. Nobody sees anything. You can count those beeps and whatnot. You may come up with something. I don't have the means, nor the time. So this is the jacket that was on the seat when the entity entered. If you saw it, this is his jacket, I think. All right, here we got, he's entering. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9, and there's 1 on his right. So the 1 on his right, so there's a 9. I don't know what the 9 means, but I read there's like 9 angels and whatnot. Ask those Templars, right? This here, I believe, is his son Cain or Ishmael, right? Here is probably Brett or another son. I don't know. Or he hasn't been born, is not yet born, right? And then look, it's weak. It's just barely lighting up. And the 1, 9 sometimes denotes something else. So you got the 9 and then you got the 1. Here, meaningly, it may be the Kabbalah, tree of Kabbalah, right? Kabbalah tree, the 9 up and then the 1 below, right? 9 and 1 or 1, 9. So he's entering something very occultic, right? Very secretive, very invisible, very airtight, and right? And it's something to do with the Kabbalah, right? And here it is red, right? So the world is red. When that means is like it's among the heathen, among the, whatnot, right? Those Gentiles and so on and so forth. Now, if you look here, it really does look like a CPU. CPU has what's called register locations and so on, and they light up, they get filled, like transistors, and they get discharged, and if you want to know, look at it. Now, you may be able to sort out symbols here, right? As they change, there may be symbols that I'm not aware of, some kind of language, I don't know, certain alphabet that not many people know, or something of the sort. But this here is the world of red, or whatever it is, right? And these are the various operatives, right? Scattered among the nations here, right? So these are the spies that collect information and gather it into Mother. Now, if you want to think Mother of Mother, this may be something similar to something in the movie Soylent Green, right? By Charlton Heston, when Eli Roth goes into that back room, like somewhere hidden in building, and then there are these women, old women and men, and they have like huge racks of record, shelves of records and so on, and they know a lot, right? So that's where the information about what's going on in the world and nations and whatnot is gathered and kept and collected, right? So that may be it. And these are the operatives, right? These people here get paid, or they're part of the occult and something like that, and they gather information. right? Stealthily, surreptitiously, and so on. And they're undercover, and they forward all this information to mother, right? So mother is really where the core of Zion is, or whatever that chip is. We see 3-1 here, 3-2. So you see when he entered 3-2, but then when he was entering and the camera was behind him, you would see 3, right? And then that uh, almost lit 1 that I thought was Brett or even Isaac, right? And then you got 8, right? And then you got monitor per side, right? So it's not one and the same, but that's where they all pour into the confluence, right, of all information. It's divided per country, per continent, I don't know, per religion, and then they all eventually channel their information, valuable information, into this particular area, which is called Central Mother or something of the sort. And then when he entered, he went totally into a silhouette, if you saw. And then the screens are blue. So here, if you look closely, you will see that here, this key, it's not a typical keyboard, right? Similar to Tank's keyboard in the movie, The Matrix. This key here has this 6-pointed star, right? This one here has got 6, right? 6 dots, and so on and so forth. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have the means to slow down or zoom in or zoom out.
Morning, Mother.
So that's mother. So I look here and I see all these years like 2096, 2097, 2098, 2099. They may correspond to something then, blah, 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 but they look like, they sound like years to me. Like the year, the 21st century, 2081, 2080, blah, 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 right? I don't know what to make of that, right? But then eventually it stops on 2037, which is the interface. So what's the story, mother? Imagine yourself talking to the computer like that. All right, here, everybody is in action now, manning their positions and so on. Ash, and then behind him, I do believe behind him here is Ripley, Lambert, right?
Right?
So there are 2, Parker, Brett. There's something small here. I don't know what the heck that is. No, I think that's part of that Brett thing. And then there is that round figurine with big nose, long nose, liar. Long nose means a liar, right?
Okay.
Right? So, right?
Whoever then.
Thank you.
Right? And looking at blue. So the blue is providing information, but they're operating on reds. Right? So you'd see here, you would see reflection on her cheek. See? I don't know what that is. Now there is a note to make here. So that's here. That's her picture. Lambert's picture. And here, there's that coffee cup. And then, of course, she smokes cigarettes, right? The blues are above and the reds are below. And between them, there's the yellow. So these guys are with authority, right? The information is provided by the blue. And then there's that cigarette, Balaji Imperial. So the Balaji Imperial, I will explain that to you in the next video. However, here, I want to give you a rough idea. If you look closely, there is a man here wearing a turban with a feather stuck to it, right? Hanging from it or extruding from it, flying from it. And then in his left hand, he's holding a smoking pipe. Uh-oh, I see myself here. A smoking pipe. It's not the hookah, it's the smoking pipe, the small smoking pipe. Like in German, it would be five, or piper, pfeifer. That pipe is my last name, Ghalyoun. So, oh boy, I found myself again. Talking date, 1979, preparing to come to America or being pushed into it, right? Release of May 25th, I was born on May 13th, right? So there's something like 12 days between me and that date of release, that release date of the movie. And now there's a pipe, right? Smoking pipe. So he's holding that. However, the word Balaji is Arabic, right? So I'm gonna explain the word Balaji in the next video because it really encompasses few meanings. One of which is Balaj al-Subh, or the dawn, breaking dawn, or something of the sort, when the light gushes out. It's also got other meanings as well. The other meanings, so and so, but it may also signify or be a hint of something else altogether, that the alien himself, but we'll see that later. However, here you see those wings, right, on that coffee cup, which is Arabic, right? So the coffee cup, right, has that wing emblem on it. That wing, where do you see that? You see it in Zoroastrian, the Zoroaster religion, the Magi's religion. Exactly the same, but it also denotes is indicative of them dealing with angelology and demonology, demonic entities and angel entities and so on, right? That's what that religion is. One note about that religion, it's really made up, it's not that old. All that is made up by Magi's later after the appearance of Islam, right? So, but that's their emblem, it's the wings of angels and so on, and that's Zoroaster. So this ship could well be a Zoroaster expedition or Zoroaster thing, if you will. But let's continue. I will explain that later. The Balaji.
What is that?
Exact.
You should know.
So here, apparently, they're at loss.
It's not our system.
It's not our system. Somebody then now that contributes and supports my theory that the entity that entered the ship and woke them up and so on is really not exactly the one that sent the ship in the first place. Their expedition got interrupted before it arrived at its destination or target.
It's okay.
So now they realize something is wrong. Here, their channels of intelligence are being probed now. They're like very active, trying to know what's going on, where they are, and so on, so they can make a decision about the expedition.
Contact traffic control.
That's traffic control. That's probably Mother, right? Or controllers somewhere.
This is commercial towing vehicle, Mr.
So here, the entity, I do believe now that the entity is really what they mean by it is God or Allah himself has noticed something and then entered the ship and then began to change things. So I have a support argument here to support my argument that this is Zion, right? Here it says commercial towing vehicle Nostromo out of the Solomons. Solomon. Here the Solomons means Sulaiman, or the son of David, right? So out of the Solomons, that's Jewish thing, right? So this is Zion, is what I am believing in. That's it. I don't know what that means. For edifice, for countries, for civilizations, for sections, for something, and then these are their domes, or perhaps their coffers, where they keep other sub-entities that the Zion use, for example. There are other religious or occults or something of the sort that Zion itself utilizes and use.
Nothing.
Keep trying.
Calling Antarctica.
So here I can't tell again who is behind him. I think that's Ripley, but I'm not sure. Here it becomes very hard to see who is sitting on the 3 seats and who's sitting on the 2 front seats. The Vanguard.
Calling Antarctica traffic control.
So that's probably here. That's probably Lambert.
Read me, Antarctica. Over. This
I
is
found it.
towing
Just
vehicle.
notice it to reticulate.
Zeta reticuli. So that may mean something. Again, in front of here, we see something here as if it's a spaceman with 2 legs, or probably an elephant, or I don't know what it is really that's dangling here. It's hard for me to make out, to sort out what that is.
Registration number 24609. Calling Antarctica
The
traffic
hell are you
control.
doing? I know here.
Read me, over.
What are you talking about?
That's not our system.
I know that.
So they're in the wrong place. Something has happened. Something wrong has happened, and they're just beginning to find out. Now a decision will be made whether to continue the expedition or not. Now, here, the entity is the camera. That entity is the camera, is monitoring. And Parker and Brett are in fact entering into the other occults, right? Or the subservient or subordinate organizations, red soldiers, and their machinations and machines and so on. They're the machines, right? So these are the machines. And now Parker says, do you ever notice how they never come down here? Because that's the work, according to the contract, that's the work of Parker and Brett, right? This is not a combat area. They send them into these areas, right? Which are subordinate, right? Could be army, could be intelligence, could be anything, right? And they send them to control it. I mean, this is where the work is, right? Right? I mean, think about it. The leadership, Tank, right? And Dozer, they basically operate Neo. But Neo does the work, right? Including sacrifice, including risk, including killing, including everything, right? But Tank and Dozer never emerge from the Nebuchadnezzar. They are always on a safe distance, and they harvest and collect. Well, the same damn reason. We got a half share to their 1. Oh, see? These are truths here. Here they're telling the truth. Meaningly, you know, even though these guys are doing the work, but they get half of the share. So the expedition, right, gets the spoils. But these guys, Brett and Parker, and Brett will prove to be a very interesting personality here. And historically, it's real, right? And its relationship to Parker and as well as Ripley.
We're gonna half share of that. Come on, our time is their time. That's the way they see it. No,
But listen, man. Same old.
Shit, man.
So he says, I think I know why they don't come down here. It's because of you. You don't have no personality.
You don't have no personality.
All right. So here, I'm going to stop here at minute 10:52, because here it gets very, very, very interesting. But notice, the two opposite girls here, the wives, right? They're in argument, as if they're in argument, right? And then the husband of these two are emerging is emerging, right? Right? And he drinks coffee. And coffee, now we're talking about Arabs, so we're talking about Cain, who is Ishmael, or Cain, the human, right? And then he looks at him. Notice how he stares at him. I mean, there's nobody else to look at here except Cain or Ash. So I am making the assumption that he's looking at Cain, his son. And then he looks, the stare competition here, or breaks, right? And then he looks at Lambert, who's the mother of Cain, right? And then remember the story when Abraham takes his son and his wife Hagar and his son Ishmael and takes them out into the desert because he wants them gone, right? The teenage girl called Lambert. Notice he has something. Right? So we're gonna stop here. 10:55, and then all right, boys and girls, it's getting interesting. But then again, you see here he is wearing white wings. This guy wears blue wings and blue wings all the time. So is Parker. Parker and Ash never changed the blue wings, while these guys wear white wings and then they change into black wings and so on. Is that intentional? Maybe. I think so. And so it goes. So have a nice day, and then we'll talk to you tomorrow.